everyone. This is Donna's Happy Hour. Just a reminder to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you get future notifications of the videos. And please leave a comment. Thank you. Have a great day. Today I have Mike Daly and the Planets with me. They are a rock band, and I met them at the Way Way Yonda Music Festival in September, and I have been very excited about having you on. Thank you so much for joining me.
Good to be here.
Now, I just have to tell you that I was fortunate enough to get one of their albums, which I will pull out for you. Here we go.
It is.
That is it, Mike Daly and the Planets. And when was this album produced?
It was released last March.
It was released last March,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And the songs that you hear today are all original songs. Now, who's the writer, or do you all collaborate?
I'm the primary songwriter.
You're the primary, okay.
Jim Smith, our drummer here, co-wrote a song with me for this album. It was the first time that he co-wrote it. And we've written together in the past, but we just haven't. The more recent songs have been pretty much all me.
And which song was that you collaborated on?
Any Given Night?
Oh, okay. Any Given Now? I don't think you sang that one today,
Yes,
did
we
you?
did.
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have to tell you, I was listening to your songs, and one of the things that really interested me was that you go from like rock and roll, and then you have, let's say, something like Never Too Late, and then you'll go to, what was it, Slack, to Slack, which is such a huge contrast, and I really like that. But the other song that I found very interesting was Stupid Me, which I don't think you did today.
No, that we didn't do.
That you didn't do. And so I know you're going to love their music and their sound. The other thing that I have to ask, I always find it interesting to see what sort of music drove you. But one of the things, and I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, you have a very David Bowie in the sense of the way you articulate some of the inflections in your songs. I don't know if anyone's ever mentioned that.
We get a lot of Elvis Costello.
Oh, okay.
In terms of my singing voice and the inflections of my singing voice, we get a lot of that.
A lot of that.
Pat Denisio of the Smithereens.
Okay.
Because I'm a baritone. Elvis Costello is also a baritone. Pat is a baritone.
Right.
So we get a lot of comparisons like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Never Bowie.
Never Bowie. That's
Never
a new one.
Bowie, really?
You're the first.
Oh, wow.
We'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay, what was their influence? So who was, or is there nobody that was, let's say, your influence in the sound that you're getting with all of?
Well, we start off with the Beatles, obviously. That's one thing we all have in common.
Okay.
And bands like the Beatles, Cheap Trick and Badfinger, bands like that.
Okay.
70s New York punk, there's a little influence in that, the Ramones and bands like that. Newer bands, John, can you think of any newer bands you think might...
I think there's a lot of stuff from the 90s when we were sort of forging our first band. We'll probably talk about that later.
Yeah.
Bands like the Lemonheads and Bob Mould,
Right.
Sugar, stuff like that. Sort of the post-grunge pop sound that sort of was happening in the late 90s, alternative pop.
Okay.
It
And
informs a lot of what we do.
when were most of these written? Just out of
The
curiosity.
vast majority of those were written in, I would say, 2016, 2017.
Okay, all righty.
A couple that go back, way back to a previous band that we were in that in the later part, a lot of our stuff didn't get recorded, and we ended up picking this stuff up from that. There's a lot of certain places where, you play a half an hour like we did here today, or you play 45 minutes, and then somebody says, we need 2 sets of an hour. And so then we have to dig back
Right,
into the
right
repertoire.
into the yeah.
And then you're going to record, and you decide you're going to record an album, so you can't really have fewer than 10 songs on an album. So we have to try and mine as much material from all different phases.
All different phases.
Right.
Interesting. And so when you go out and you play, do you run into the same problem where most of the venues want you to play cover songs?
We
you
avoid
run
that studiously.
Really?
Yeah. We've done that, and we can still do that. And, matter of fact, John and I and Jim are involved in a charity show that we do every year. That's a fundraiser, and it's all requests. The audience
Okay.
purchases requests, and it's classic rock night.
Okay, all right.
And that's really the only time that we do that. We only play in clubs that cater to original music, and
Oh, that's, oh, wow,
and
okay.
there are fewer and fewer of them
Well,
every
that's
day, but
right.
But we do we try and keep abreast of all the ones that are still open and which new ones are opening.
Right, right. That's the interesting thing. When I talk to the bands, I find that there are fewer and fewer places. Number one, although I take that, on one hand, there's fewer and fewer places that want original music. But on the other hand, I see that for a while there, it must have been hard getting gigs at clubs.
Oh yeah.
And now it's starting to come back from what I can see, that there are more places hiring bands again.
Right.
And maybe I think that might have had to do with a couple of things. Number, DWIs. Remember when they were really cracking down on the clubs? Mm-hmm. Nobody wanted to go to clubs anymore. Number two, you had the DJs coming in, mm-hmm. and three, karaoke,
right.
As well, which I'm sure affected a lot of bands.
Anything that will cause an uptick in liquor sales, most establishments will try. But there are places that most of the original music places that we have played came not from the vision of having a bar and then let's try some music. They came from a position of let's start a rock club.
Oh, interesting.
And, because there are fewer and fewer of them.
Right.
And we've just had 3 or 4 close within the last month or two.
Oh, really?
Of places that we played fairly recently.
Wow. Now, I do want to say that you are based out of New Jersey, pretty much, right?
Right.
Okay. And one of the things I want to ask, so what's the largest venue that you've played? Is there?
Newton Theater.
Yeah, we played the Newton Theater.
But it was we didn't headline the Newton Theater or anything like that. It was like a talent show or something.
Yeah,
okay.
Augusta has talent, or what was it called? Skylands have talent. Yeah, we played there. We for a chance to open another show, and we didn't come in first, but they kind of
came in fourth.
We came in fourth.
No shame in fourth.
No shame.
No, there's no.
Everybody got to do one song, and it was judged by some local people involved with the theater.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wow.
That's probably the biggest place we played. Before John was in the band, we played at Maxwell's in Hoboken, which is no longer.
Maxwell's. That sounds very familiar.
It was a legendary.
Wow.
It was, a New York magazine described Maxwell's as the best New York club. And
oh,
it was in New
wow.
Jersey.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
wow.
At one time, it was it's long since gone by the wayside. It's going to be something else.